New information now in the murder of a tourist at a New Orleans hotel.
62-year-old Patrick Murphy was a beloved businessman and owner of Murphy Jewelers. An Empress Hotel worker found Murphy in bed, stabbed multiple times. The NOPD is now looking for this woman, identified as Magen, and she's wanted for second-degree murder.
Friends, in this video, we've got a $20 prostitute, a jeweler who was worth millions, and his poor wife. My name is Cameron. Welcome to True Red Crime. This is the case of Magen Hall. Now, the body cam stuff we will get to in a second. Let me give you a background on this story. Patrick Murphy, he was 62 years old. He was a jeweler in Pennsylvania. He stood 5'7". He weighed around 160 pounds. He had green eyes and grey hair. Now, he was known to wear expensive jewelry, particularly a Rolex Submariner 2. The watch was worth $37,000. Now, his wife later told investigators Patrick had once been the victim of a robbery during which he fought off the robbers, demonstrating his tendency to resist with force. Now, in late February 2019, Patrick and his wife traveled to New Orleans for a vacation. They went on Monday, February 25th, and they rented an Airbnb in the 500 block of Toulouse Street in the French Quarter. They spent several days enjoying the city's attractions, including Mardi Gras parades and the vibrant nightlife of Bourbon Street. Now, Magen Hall, the prostitute, was 25 years old. She was from Tennessee. She was born in 1993. Now, she actually stood at 5'9" and weighed around 180 pounds. Goodness. Magen held Tennessee identification and had a documented history with law enforcement in the New Orleans area. Now, the New Orleans Police Department had previously arrested her for prostitution within the French Quarters. She also had 2 open warrants from the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department for narcotics and prostitution charges. In fact, one of the cases she was arrested, she charged, yes, $20. Now, I'm sorry, but whoever took up on that offer of $20, it's a bit of a red flag. Like, I've got socks that cost more than that. Anyway, Magen had no fixed address, and she was believed to be working as a prostitute in the French Quarter area. Now, on Wednesday evening, February 27th, 2019, Patrick and his wife returned to their vacation rental after attending a parade. It was around 10 p.m. When they arrived back at their Airbnb, Patrick's wife, she was tired and she wanted to go to sleep. Patrick, however, he thought, you know what? You go to bed, love. I'm going to go have myself a cigar. There was a cigar bar down the street. So Patrick left and he had $1,000 in cash in his possession and he was wearing his Rolex watch. However, he left his wallet, his credit cards, and his cell phone at the Airbnb where his wife is. And his wife later explained to detectives that she and Patrick were scheduled to leave New Orleans the following morning, heading back to Pennsylvania. Now, Patrick's wife, she woke up around 5 a.m. and realized her husband had not returned. She was concerned. She called the police at 1 p.m. and reported him missing. Sir Christian Ricil and Stephen Kriebel from the New Orleans police, they were dispatched. They went to the cigar bar located on Toulouse Street. They spoke with the manager. Now, the manager provided security video footage from the previous evening, beginning at 10 p.m. And the police, they watched 2 hours of surveillance video showing multiple angles of the interior, including the entrance, the bar area, and lounge. However, the video didn't show Patrick. Patrick was never captured. He wasn't in any of the surveillance footage. The officers also checked University Hospital and Tulane University Hospital to see if Patrick had been admitted, and he wasn't in either location. So the question is, where is Patrick? Because of course, his wife believed he went to the cigar bar, but the surveillance footage and witness statements later revealed a very different sequence of events. A witness who lived near Patrick in Pennsylvania was visiting New Orleans at the same time. They had 3 companions with them. Now, one of these witnesses spoke to police, Detective Guidry. She told the detective that she and her companions had observed Patrick near the intersection of Bourbon and Conti streets. This was around midnight. She said Patrick was talking to some unknown males. This is when a female approached him, and this female exposed her breasts to Patrick. She then placed Mardi Gras beads around her neck. So then Patrick and the girl were drinking together inside Mango Bar. This was located on the corner of Bourbon and Conti streets. The female was described as someone taller than Patrick but heavy set. So Detective Guidry and Detective Joseph Jefferson, they reviewed the CCTV and it corroborated this account. The footage showed Patrick and Magen near the intersection of Bourbon and Conti streets. Both of them entered the Mango Bar together. They were drinking inside and then left. This is where they went, to the Empress Hotel. So, this hotel is a two-story structure located on Ursuline Avenue in the Treem neighborhood of New Orleans. So, at 2 a.m., February 28th, surveillance cameras at the hotel captured Patrick arriving with a female. The footage clearly showed Magen Hall standing next to Patrick. Magen provided the desk clerk with her Tennessee identification card, and the clerk recorded the name Magen Hall along with her identification number. Patrick offered only his first name as Robert and provided no verifiable identification. The surveillance video clearly showed Patrick had his Rolex on and he stood next to Magen while she secured the hotel room. I've mentioned the Rolex a few times because that's gonna be motive on information that's coming. So, after checking in, Magen and Patrick were observed via surveillance video. They entered the hotel room 110. The room was 100 square feet and could only be accessed by one door that opened into the first floor hallway. There was a small window and it was locked from the inside and secured with 2 pieces of wood. Now, Detective Guidry interviewed 2 witnesses who were staying at the hotel. They were in room 108. Now, that evening, the witnesses provided crucial testimony about what they heard. The witnesses told police that around 4 a.m., they heard a male and female arguing loudly. They could hear them struggling inside the room, and during the struggle, the female said, "Get in the bathroom." The witnesses said that the struggle lasted approximately 2 minutes, after which there was no noise anymore. Now, just 12 minutes when the noise stopped, surveillance cameras captured Magen leaving the hotel room. She left alone. The footage showed her briskly walking out of the front door of the hotel and heading north on Ursuline Avenue. So, Detective Guidry made a critical observation while reviewing the surveillance footage. He watched the video that recorded the front door of the hotel room, and he noticed that from 2 a.m. to the moment Patrick's body was discovered, nobody else had entered that room except Patrick and Magen. So, the next day, hotel maintenance employees, they were tasked with making rounds to ensure that, the guests had left in their checkout time. Now, one of the employees approached room 110. He found the door partially open. He pushed the door open and he saw Patrick lying on the bed. I've got all the images of Patrick. Obviously, I've deleted them. I'm not going to show them here, but there's blood everywhere. There are cuts everywhere. The employee leaned into the room, saw Patrick, but he didn't enter fully. He leaned in a bit more for a few seconds and then he ran out to go call someone else. He immediately notified the hotel owner who was at the hotel that morning. The owner stated that the employee informed her that a hotel guest was unresponsive. So the owner entered the room and checked Patrick for a pulse. The owner, she was a medical technician, and she believed Patrick was deceased based on her brief observation. She stated she did not recall seeing a watch on either of Patrick's wrists, though she was focused on his well-being. She then remained in the room for 13 seconds before leaving and calling 911. So Sergeant Mark McCourt of the New Orleans Police, he was the officer on scene. He arrived. He was briefed by hotel staff about the deceased male found inside the room. Sergeant McCourt entered the room along with an EMS supervisor. Now, McCourt's body-worn camera footage captured the scene as you can see right now. They checked Patrick for signs of life but found none. The footage showed that Patrick's front left pocket was turned inside out and there was no watch visible on his wrist. The EMS did not manipulate Patrick's body or disturb the crime scene beyond checking for vital signs. So then Sergeant McCourt secured the crime scene and awaited more police personnel. And this is where the investigation begins. Detective Joseph Jefferson arrived and he was briefed by Sergeant McCourt on the circumstances surrounding the discovery of the body. Detective Jefferson learned that the male had checked into the hotel late the previous night with a female, and that hotel staff had discovered him unresponsive and covered in blood. So Jefferson then spoke with the employee who found the body. The employee stated that he knocked on the door and he walked in, he had a look around, he found the body, he didn't touch anything, nobody was moving, nobody came in after that until he notified the owner. So after reviewing surveillance footage from the Empress Hotel system, Jefferson provided a description of the female observed in Patrick's company. He was describing Magen. He said she had been observed leaving the room and walking north on Ursuline Avenue. And because of this, the case was then assigned to Patrick Guidry from the Homicide Division. That's the police I mentioned earlier. He learned that Patrick had died from multiple stab wounds sustained inside the hotel. The autopsy revealed that Patrick sustained 3 wounds, 1 to his neck and 2 to his abdomen, all on the left side of his body. The weapon was determined to be an unknown sharp object. The walls, the floor, and the bed contained multiple blood spatters. Again, I got those images, I deleted them right away, but there was so much blood. So then Detective Guidry and Sergeant Anthony Edenfield interviewed Patrick's wife. Prior to the interview, she had reported Patrick as a missing person. And when they conducted this interview for her, they told her her husband had died. The wife told police that she last saw her husband alive the night before around 10 p.m. This is when Patrick left, and according to her, he went to the cigar lounge and he had $1,000 in cash. She also confirmed he was wearing his Rolex. He let police know it was worth $37,000. She stated Patrick had left his wallet and credit cards with her. Now, she told detectives that she tracked Patrick's phone throughout the day, and this produced negative results. She expressed concern that if someone attempted to rob Patrick, specifically his watch, well, he could probably handle it because previously he was robbed and he was able to fend off the attackers. Now, after providing this information, Sergeant Edenfield informed her that her husband was deceased, so she became distraught and called her children. Sergeant Edenfield and Detective Guidry remained with her until a family acquaintance arrived on scene. So now police had to find Magen, and they had a photograph of her and they put it through the Louisiana State Police system, and they learned of her identification card that was used when she checked into the hotel. Additionally, police also were able to pull her records from her previous $20 prostitution charge. So now they had a case file on her, and they had her date of birth, DNA, and photos. So based on the evidence collected, they arrested her for second-degree murder. On March 3rd, 2019, she turned herself in to the police department. The surrender had been arranged through her attorney. Magen did not make any statement regarding the murder of Patrick to officers at the time of her arrest. She was immediately escorted into the Justice Center and booked. Later, she was accompanied by her attorney, and she refused to participate in an interview with police. She was then transported to central lockup and booked accordingly. Now, Detective Guidry and Jefferson relocated to the Justice Center the next day, and this is when a DNA warrant was served to Magen. They took a buccal swab so they could analyze the evidence collected from the crime scene. And this DNA evidence proved crucial to the case. A sexual assault kit had been collected from Patrick's body, along with 2 condoms found at the scene. Police forwarded these items to the Louisiana State Police for DNA processing. Now, the New Orleans Parish Assistant District Attorney received a copy of the results and informed Detective Guidry that the sexual assault kit and 2 condoms tested positive for DNA belonging to Patrick Murphy and Magen Hall. This evidence established that sexual activity had occurred between Patrick and Magen in the room. So police then thought, okay, but why do this? What was the motive? Well, they established that armed robbery was the main reason. The evidence was compelling. You see, the surveillance video clearly showed he was wearing his watch, but when Magen left, there was no watch on his wrist. Furthermore, Patrick's left front pocket was turned inside out, indicative of being searched after he was stabbed. The expensive Rolex was never recovered, and Patrick's wife did state he had $1,000 in cash, so that was also taken. Based on these facts, police concluded Magen had lured Patrick to the hotel room, engaged in sexual activity, and then murdered him to steal his expensive watch and cash. The witnesses in room 108 had heard struggles and heard a woman shout, "Get," in the bathroom, suggesting she was attempting to control Patrick's movements. So, in the trial, Magen Hall was sentenced to 25 years in prison. She pled guilty to manslaughter, armed robbery, and obstruction of justice. I think they made a Netflix show about this case. I'm not too sure. Why glorify her? I don't know. She is currently at the Louisiana Transactional Center for Women. The sentence was concurrent on all charges, with all but 10 years suspended, meaning she won't serve the final 15 years as long as she behaves in jail. She's been in prison since March the 3rd, 2019. But I think 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, that's nowhere near enough. Because remember, she was arrested for second-degree murder, and she faced a mandatory life sentence with no parole. A conviction for armed robbery has a sentence of 10 to 99 years in prison. So in my honest opinion, when it comes to the judge and the police, what the fuck? She should never get out. What purpose does she serve anyway? Comment, tell me what you think.
Okay, I'm coming. You found it?
My worker found it, and then I came in and verified
Is
by
he
post.
or she still here, the worker?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna need to talk to him. Okay.
Nobody touched anything.
Okay, great, thank you.
Why don't you don't step in and
Yeah, you're right. I'll just get the pronouncement and then we'll go from there.
I don't even see anything. It must be around his neck area.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see if it's his neck or. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. A lot.
Do we know when the last time anybody saw him was?
We're calling the clerk who was on duty, and we're going to expect to have him here shortly.
Okay, do we have his name and all that up front?
The name of the guest? Yes, we have two parties who were in the room.
Oh, is that right?
And this room right here reported a tremendous ruckus in that room at some hour of the morning. And
That was you, sir?
No, this is my son.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not a problem. We're going to get it.
Okay.
Let me get the gentleman here who was the clerk on duty.
Okay.
We have to wake him up. He worked until 7 this morning.
Okay.
So we'll get him over
I
here.
appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. What time was that ruckus reported? You know that? Okay.
Michelle is going to
Okay.
get it.
Okay. Thank
got
you.
it.
Okay. We're waiting for everybody to show up. Room 110 right there.
We do, but right now we're both full.
Okay. Is she here?
This is the gentleman right here. So we think we figured out who it was. I was looking at it online. It was a white female, large, and I was just looking at the
Well,
video.
first things first. First things first. Who is the man that's staying in the room?
So we just have these names written
Give
down.
his name real well.
Yeah.
So you're not required to give anything here. I'm just asking.
As long as I got her and she paid an extra guest.
And she paid
Okay, so
an extra check.
they just checked in last night.
They checked in at 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, this
Yeah.
morning.
We're
Okay.
trying to figure that out.
Okay. So who is the
We
female?
believe she's Magen Hall. And we think she did a.
And we don't know his name.
We don't.
He
Okay.
wouldn't give it. He was very.
He paid cash.
Okay.
Oh, they
He
paid
paid
cash?
cash.
Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
have to go speak to them really quick, but
Let's I'm going to get you the video, sir, because I'm going to get him to
well,
confirm.
okay, we got some detectives coming, so yeah, please
Yeah.
cue that up. Okay, so you're saying that
839.
this Megan Hall, we don't have an actual ID on, right?
On her, I do.
Like a picture ID?
Well, it'd be on this. There
Oh,
was
no.
a picture ID on the card, yes.
You got that?
We're going to do everything else first.
That was her ID card.
Oh, Tennessee. Okay. 2 a.m. Around 2 a.m. they checked in.
I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now, sir.
Okay, who is the person that found?
Mike
Mr. Mike, he
Freeman
does our.
and Miss Brooks. They both found because they weren't checking out or answering the door by 12. So I asked them to please
Are they
open
here
the
right
door.
now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get their information.
That's my mom. She's the owner of the hotel.
Okay.
And then Mr. Mike is an employee.
Okay.
That's not her, huh?
No.
And
She's
No, she's in a white shirt.
Yeah.
It was-
I saw the video a second ago. I just got
Officer,
grabbed it.
this is the Miss Brooks. The officer needs to speak with you and Mike, who found the gentleman.
and also, I understand that there was some kind of altercation reported. Do we know what time on that?
She told me 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
The people right next door. They said the people in 110. They specified. They said the people next door
Oh,
to
so
us.
one of their neighbors
Yes.
called,
They said
just
there
notified
was-
the front desk.
Right.
Okay.
And so
And what happened
I
then?
didn't think anything.
Yeah,
The
sure,
room was
sure.
quiet, and
Sure.
sometimes people fight or
Oh,
whatever.
so you were working here last night?
I wasn't.
I was.
He was
Okay.
working. I took over the next shift, and the people in 108 are the neighbors.
Okay. So
they said
who was up here when that disturbance was reported?
They didn't report it till this morning.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I understand.
that's why I said, well, it's not happening
So
now.
did you notice this person leaving then?
The girl leaving, yes.
What time?
But
What time was
not-
that?
I really, at night, I really wasn't paying attention.
I don't see a woman because I remember seeing a woman going upstairs in a white shirt.
Okay.
We'll be right back with you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Mike?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? You're the one that found that they got into the room and found him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just need to get a brief statement from you. What time did you go into the room today?
It was like about 20 minutes before y'all came.
So right when you made the call, basically.
Yeah.
Right before you made the call.
Yeah,
Okay.
the lady asked me she said, Mr. Mike, can you give me some help and get the people up out the room? So, because it's checkout time.
Sure.
So I went to the door, but the door was cracked open.
Oh, so it wasn't locked.
No, it wasn't locked.
Okay.
It was cracked open. So when I pushed the door open, I didn't go in because I didn't want to disturb
I
nothing.
appreciate that.
So
pretty
when I
clear.
went in, I just saw
You saw
his
it.
stomach wasn't moving, so I went and got my boss.
Okay.
And she was going. She went in because she was like, "Let me check his part." I said, "Mama, just come out because it's a crime."
Sure.
Go in.
All right, so we'll get back to you. I'm sure some detectives are probably going to want to speak to you.
All right,
We'll let
it's
you
no
get back to
problem.
work.
You right there.
Yeah.
All right. You can just.
Nah, just face the car right here, man. Good God, man. Nah, that's good. Face the car right here. Hands on the car. What's your name?
Magen.
What's your last name, nigga?
Home.
Yeah. Last name? Hall. H-A-L-L. Date of birth? 9/17.